So there's that.
He told us that we'd be 12-5.
Jags set up with a
He was wrong, just like
game.
us. We
got a Jaguar thick in playoff experience. You got to go back to the day, Hick, to find the guys that are super playoff experience.
Playoff experience.
Catch those guys from the 90s who just, year in, year out. And hopefully we've reached this stage here with a developing quarterback and relationship with a coach that we have this conversation a lot in January's moving forward.
That'd be nice.
Bring in Fred Taylor, our Tuesday morning running back. Good morning, Fred. And just your kind of overall thoughts. And wow, what an unbelievable season shoot it started. The three of us were sitting in Alhambra, kicking around what could be, the best of expectations. And I think they've surpassed what any of us would have thought back then.
Yes, and good morning. Good morning. One quick thing. We all could have woke up Ravens fans this morning, but thankfully, there's one of those things. But we're Jaguar fans. And the other thing is, as you were playing that song, the old infamous, the classic Big Pimpin', right? Mm-hmm. The intro?
Yeah.
That's correct.
My thought was, you can't beat us because we them Jaguars. Yeah. That's all been playing in my head the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? And, of course, none of us thought that we would be sitting here talking about playoffs at Alhambra.
No.
And only not because we don't think the guys are really good players or great players or what have you, but you look at the situation, first-year coach, first-year front office, got a quarterback that had question marks around him, pretty much his entire career. You had a running back, wasn't sure if he was going to, be out this year, just a free agent. You had a new defense coordinator, questionable there as well. So there's a lot of questions more than anything. And they went out and they answered all of the questions that anyone possibly had. And now for themselves, they got to answer the rest. What are we made of as they journey off into the playoffs?
Yeah, you think about it. First year head coach. First time he'd ever been a head coach. First time offense coordinator has ever been an offense coordinator. First time defense coordinator has ever been a defense coordinator. First time general manager has ever been a general manager. First time executive vice president's ever been executive vice president. And it all seemed to mesh and come together. I think the sum is greater than the parts, but the parts they're all playing great complementary football, aren't they, Fred?
They're playing amazing. And yes, to answer your question, great complementary football across all parts of the team. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard, it's hard to even tell you where to start.
Right.
I was out with the fans screaming yesterday, so I kind of down in my voice.
Very good.
But it's really hard to, say where to start. Even sometimes hard to pinpoint exactly what it is. For many of us, we look and try and find a crack in their armor, but it seems to not be one. I mean, after the Texans game, they've gone on a tear these past 8 weeks. And I ain't just saying, they're winning one-score games. They've gone on a tear. I mean, averaging upwards over 34 points a game in that run. And this isn't a sign of a team that's just getting by. This is a sign of a very good football team, one that makes you ask the question, the franchise history question that I've been asking myself. I was a part of the 99 team that was very dominant, and I was a part of some other good Jaguars teams.
Yes.
I'm trying to come up with what separates those teams in terms of, is this team better than that team? Is it the AFC Championship? Do they have to make it that far? To answer that question, they look as good in this stretch. To give them credit, looking at the entirety of the season, they look as good. Yes, they've lost more games, but they won, equally amount of games, just about. This is a very good team, man. I don't know. They're going to be hard to beat in the playoffs.
We've talked about, I started bringing this up 2 or 3 weeks ago, might be the second best team to the 99 team. And as they continue to play, pick up a postseason win or two, and I think they'll firmly establish this. Guys, I'm going to take you back to Sunday, October 12th. The Seattle Seahawks came to town. You remember it kind of being a beatdown, but it was 20-12 in part because Cam Little couldn't make a kick. Remember, he missed an extra point, a couple field goals. I think Cam Ward kicks, and it would have been a tie game because they had to go for 2 at one point because of the way the score set up. But since that loss at Everbank, in games that have been played in Jacksonville, now they did play the Rams, technically a home game the next week, but that was in London. But the games in Jacksonville, they have played 4 since that October 12th game. They beat the Chargers by 29. They beat the Colts by 17. They beat the Jets by 28. And they beat the Titans yesterday by 34. Now, I'm not going to tell you that's murderer's row when it comes to the schedule. It is what it is. But not only have they been winning home games, Freddie, they've been winning comfortably. And you kind of spoke to this. They've been a wagon for the rest of the league here. Just how much more dangerous does that make them? Somehow, Fred, we're still under the radar. The Bills are favored. And if you listen to any national show right now, well, this is the time for Josh Allen with no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar. I feel good about not just the way this team's playing, but some of those intangibles going into this weekend.
I think they're a dangerous team because they're consistent. What you just mentioned just shows their consistency, and that's what you look for. You want to create that momentum at this time of the season. They have that. They're number 1 against the run defensively. That gives them a lot of hope this point in the season because most teams want to come in and establish the run the ball, create some sort of balance. But the Jaguars, for the most part, have taken that away from a lot of teams. And when you make a team one-dimensional, you give yourself an opportunity to win these games in this fashion. So in terms of being dangerous, they're firing on all cylinders at the right time, and they haven't looked to slow down, right? And with that other stuff, no Mahomes, no Lamar. You do have Josh Allen, but their defense hadn't been the old Buffalo defense that we're used to.
Right.
And we're hoping that the Jaguars are able to exploit that Sunday at 1 p.m. In the Jags, I'm sure they don't want to get off to a start that they got off to, at least for the first part of the first quarter that we saw Sunday. Still, playoffs, things are going to get tighter, things are going to get faster, and it's going to come down to the teams that make the least amount of mistakes. We don't want this Jaguar team to go out there and look like the Ravens team to dominant throughout the course of the season. Then somehow they would find themselves in the playoffs and find a way to fumble it away or miss kicks or throw interceptions. And as long as we can avoid those sort of breakdowns by protecting the ball, which they've done a great job of, again, they give themselves the greatest opportunity to be successful.
There are 7 teams in the playoffs in the AFC, 7-7. And I think every one of these 7 teams are thinking, this could be our year. We can do this.
Wide open.
And
of course.
Yeah. Am I crazy to think? I think that the winner of this game might be the team. That's what I think. I think the winner of the Buffalo Jaguars game might be the team to go to the Super Bowl.
I mean, obviously, I think that if you were, doing this in Pittsburgh, you might think it would be the Steelers.
That's right.
I mean, that's just the way it goes. Sometimes
I'm not Pittsburgh, Dan. I'm Jacksonville, Dan.
that is true. But internally, you've seen this team up close, and naturally, it's easier to make that assessment. And you just make it and you live with it. And obviously, you don't have to get out there and play. It just comes down to what it comes down to at the end of these playoffs. I think the Jaguars are going to make it. You have other writers out there that think other teams are going to make it. And the weird thing is we have 3 games in these playoffs that are going to showcase teams with better records having to go on the road in this first wild card weekend to, play an opponent. And what does Vegas think? Do they think those teams with a better record are going to beat the teams that are hosting them? Or do they give the home team that? But it's so much. But I don't know. I think the Jaguars are the better team in these playoffs. They're a bit scary at times. The matchup versus Houston sort of scares me a little bit more than any other matchup.
Okay.
If they get that matchup, But I like to sit back and let it kind of unfold, starting with the Bills Sunday.
Right.
Fred, as a player, and the playoffs are coming up this weekend. Saturday 4:30, Saturday 8, Sunday 1, Sunday 4:30, Sunday night, Monday night. Would you add a preference? Would it matter to you where you played? Like if you were
Like
ranking
what time
it?
you're saying?
Yeah. Does it matter which of those slots you got? Is there an order that would have been best for you?
I can honestly say I was always a 4 p.m. home game guy.
Okay.
We didn't get many of those, but you get a chance to sleep in just a little bit longer. You get a chance to do your operations, and take your time. The sense of urgency was there, but you didn't have to be up at 7 o'clock for a 1 p.m. kick, which was my routine, to set my alarm for 7, make sure I handle everything. You're in pregame meal 4 hours before, then I head directly to the stadium. Some guys chose others. Some guys wanted that 1 o'clock kick. But I also knew in September, October in Jacksonville, 4 o'clock gave you a bit better chance of not being 99,000 degrees
not
outside.
dying of heat stroke. Yeah, correct.
Correct.
Keeps you
So,
alive.
but at this point in the year, I think these guys just, want to get out there and play. Obviously, if we would have pulled the, early 4 o'clock or the early Saturday game, it means we're home. We don't have to travel. It gives us an extra day to get ahead of everyone. The team that has to come in, they have to hurry up in their operations. But more than anything, a home game doesn't really matter at the time, but a home game in front of my fans, in front of my comfort zone, is where I'd much rather be.
All right, Fred, I don't want to turn this into a pick segment, but it sounds like you feel pretty comfortable and confident in the Jags' chances this weekend.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. All right.
That's without question, and not because I'm a Jaguar lifer,
Right.
because if I can unbiasedly remove myself from that part and just looking at the matchups, looking at how the Jaguars defense, when you match them up versus the Bills offense, the Bills, everyone screams Josh Allen. Why not screen Cook? Cook's been the heartbeat of that offense. I mean, look at their running game and what they've been able to do. That gives them the balance that they want. It makes Josh that much more dangerous. But you have to stop Cook. And I think being the number one rush defense gives them the upper hand to give them the best shot at doing that. Now, the back end, they're going to have to do what they do, which is when the opportunity presents itself, take the ball away. And when you flip the ball over to offensively, the Jaguars' offense are a better matchup than the Bills' defense. And I think given those two breakdowns or talking points, it puts Jacksonville in the driver's seat to win the game. But again, that's just me on the outside looking in and having watched both teams this year. So I'm going to go Jaguars for sure.
Great stuff as always, Fred. Look forward to chatting it up again next week with a victory and on to the divisional round. That would be great.
That would be the best outcome.
All right, my man.
So
Appreciate you, Fred.
let's do it, man. Same
go.
place, same time.
All right, brother.
You the
Talk
man.
to you next week.
Thanks, Fred.
There you go.
Have a good one, guys.
That's our Monday morning running back, Fred Taylor, and we continue live in victory formation, ready for the playoffs. 1 o'clock kickoff against the Bills next Sunday, and more on yesterday's win and the legacy of Jacksonville grows with another playoff appearance. It's a Next Gen Roofing Monday right here on 1010XL.
Hacker here, and thank you so much for watching this video on the 1010XL Jaguar YouTube channel. Be sure and like, subscribe, and keep it locked right here on all the 1010XL channels on the 1010XL YouTube network.